Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. Well, with a name like Mary Megon McDonough and being the 7th of 9 kids, I'm sure it's not going to come as a big surprise that, yes, I was raised Catholic, which I like to think explains my intense interest in Buddhism and attraction to Jewish men. And I had a really, looking back, I love the Hindu teaching that we choose our parents before we get here. Oh my gosh. You know, that is an astonishing thought when I think of my parents, who are a very interesting bunch of people. They were both Gemini, so it was like having 4 parents. Wildly creative. And, but by the time I came along, you know, they were out of film and out of gas. And I was, you know, sort of left to, my siblings and I were sort of left to, you know, running wild in the woods and being banshees. And then my dad passed when I was 11, suddenly. And my oldest sister 3 months later in a car accident. I was 11, and it was astonishing loss. And of course the nuns did the best they could in telling us to be strong, be strong. Come to find out that that's not the, you know, the best advice for grief, is to be strong. Now I say, fall apart. And I want to rewrite the song, Smile, smile, though your heart is breaking. I want to rewrite that to cry till you can't stop crying, cry, you know, and feeling our feelings. I digress. So when I was 17, I ran away from home with my mother's permission. On a good day, it was her permission. On a bad day, it was her encouragement, you know. Because I wanted to sing, and do nothing else. I didn't really want to go to school. And I had won a radio contest when I was 14. A family friend had submitted my original folk songs. When I was 14, I was Cher. I wore my hair long, lots of black eyeliner. I looked like Cousin It, but I was Cher. And I met Sonny and Cher just kind of by accident in someone's office. I was going to go to Vietnam on a USO tour, and they were too, and I didn't know that. And they walked into the office for a meeting, and I thought, oh, Cher, my idol. I know, it's like looking in a mirror. I'm Cher. But I didn't get to go to Vietnam because there was a law passed 2 weeks before we were to go saying no one under 18 could go to Vietnam. But I kept singing and kept getting gigs around Chicago, and it was wonderful. I was having a wonderful career. Very little guidance, of course, but a wonderful career, and I had an opportunity to move to California when I was 17 to live with my manager and his wife and kind of be a nanny while my manager looked for a record deal for me. So, LA, here I come, from Crystal Lake, Illinois, which is not the end of the world, but you can see it from there, as Lenny Bruce would say. So I went to California, and in 6 months I got a record deal. And then I got a manager, a very high-powered manager, who owned the record label that I got signed to. And the management firm sent me to Denver on tour after my first LP was recorded. And I was playing a club called Ebbets Field in downtown Denver. And my sister Brenna was traveling with me at the time. And a friend of ours was going to Boulder, to school in Boulder. And he came and picked us up at our hotel and took us for a tour of Boulder and took us to Red Rocks Park. Have you ever been to Red Rocks Park? It's magnificent. And they have a stage there, of course, and lots of performers, and it's all outdoor. It's an outdoor amphitheater. And during the day, when you visit Red Rocks, the stage, of course, is closed off. You can stand on the lip of the stage. And so I climbed up there in my cowboy boots and bell bottoms, and I turned, and this overwhelming feeling came over me, and this wish just sprang from my heart of, oh, I would love to sing here one day. And about 9 months later, I opened for John Denver at Red Rocks Park. Amazing, right? So this would be, you know, meeting Sonny and Cher was like my first manifestation of like, oh, I love Cher, I love Sonny and Cher, I love Sonny. Boom, the universe goes, really? Here you go. So I'm at Red Rocks Park, and I do my set, and I come off, and I see John Denver go on, and his two musicians, and he strikes the first chord, and a shooting star arcs over the stage. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm all in. It was a magical time. However, I'm sure no one here, and I toured with John for about 1.5 years. I'm sure no one here, there were many people around, lots of people who were finding their way as well. I'm sure no one here thinks the Me Too movement, you know, just started, and there was a certain guitar player that just kind of had a thing for 19-year-old girls. But that is only part of the story. I find out that it's about consciousness, and it's about karmic contracts, I believe. So that, it turns out that whole thing of you'll never work in this business again, yeah, that's like a real thing. That really happened. Happens still, I'm sure, to this day. But now it's being revealed, and brave people are stepping forward. Fast forward 10 years, I'm pretty tough, but I moved to New York City, and I'm channel surfing, and I see an ad for Star Search. Star Search with Ed McMahon as the host, and I think, yeah, I want to go on Star Search. Now, at this time, I'm working for a producer and composer of music for television. And so he becomes my boyfriend, my manager, my producer, my co-writer, because I like to bundle. I call him bundle boyfriend. And so it turns out that my bundle boyfriend just happens to know somebody at NBC and can get me an audition for Star Search. So cool. So we videotape my audition, we send it off, and they go, hey, great. Come to Boston for a live audition. So I did, and passed, and they said, you're in. Not only are you in, you're next, because the woman you're going to be competing against has already won 7 times. She's going to the finals. So bring 2 dresses, because when contestants win, they film the next week right away. They film 2 episodes in one day. So I'm, really confident and thinking, yeah, I'm cool, I got this. And I get to Los Angeles from New York, and I'm in the van with all the other contestants, and we're going to rehearsal and then to film. And this wonderful African-American woman, T. Renee Crutcher, is the woman I'm going to be competing against. And she was so nice to me, and really just kind of leading me through the, just telling me the ropes. And I thought, well, okay, but I'm going to have to beat you, so I don't really want to beat you. So confident, so sure. Lots of this, and maybe a little too less of this. A little too less of, I would love to sing here one day. So, so we get to the set, and have you ever been in a position where something you thought you really wanted, and then you got really close, or you got it, and you thought, oh, this is nothing like I thought it would be? Well, that was my experience on Star Search. I got to the set, and it was kind of like made by Mattel. And I know this is taped, so I will. But the band would just kind of play to your track, or just mimic playing to your backtrack, and they were behind kind of this. It was all very Hollywood, and so I had decided that I was going to sing a song written by some friends of mine that I thought was a song that really needed to be in the world, instead of this rock song that my bundle boyfriend thought that I should sing. And I stubbornly thought, no, I'm singing the song I want to sing. And so, oh, and my bundle boyfriend thinks it's a good idea if I'm introduced as Megan from New York. Instead of Mary Megon McDonough from Crystal Lake, Illinois, let's give her a big hand. Megan from New York, I could just kind of feel the wah, wah, you know, because I'm in Los Angeles, and they're not crazy about New York, so they weren't in you know, at that time. So in the mid-'80s, back when the earth was still cooling. And so I went on, and or T. Renee went on and did Coming from the Right, and she was fabulous, and the clap-o-meter was going crazy, and she's a favorite. And I went on and sang my song. And then we go out for the judging. And T. Renee, they say, T. Renee Crutcher, 4 stars. Now, in my mind, it was one of those, not in my body, but in my mind moments, I think, 4 is as many as you can get. Maybe we're going to tie. Megan from New York, 3.5 stars. And in that moment, that's the out of your body moment. You only know how to kind of react. Don't cry, don't fall down, just turn and congratulate, your competitor, and then get off this set. So I turned, congratulations, hit the bricks, and just as I'm about to exhale, I feel a tap on my shoulder, and I turn and I see a person with a headset saying, Megan, could you come back? We have to refilm the ending. The camera ran out of film. And I thought, lose twice? So I did just that. Got off the set and, started to let myself have a moment when the comedian who had also been competing that week but had lost came up to me and said, we got paid. And I thought, I'm not there yet. And that's so a comedian, So what I know is, and what I learned from all of it was, you can start out with a dream and a vision. But I had to get back so far back to the original why of why sing, why perform, why follow a dream. I had gotten so lost in, resentment. I had gotten so lost in the past and wanting to make things right that I moved completely out of my heart and into my head. I was trying to sort of, what we say, rule the world from my high chair. And that simply wasn't working. And all unbeknownst to me, had I known that I was trying that hard or from wherever, but the universe will always show me when it's time to stop. And if I don't listen, it's going to turn up the volume. So turning up the volume to losing twice in 5 minutes, I thought, something is not right here. So I went back to New York and sort of had a breakthrough. We used to call them breakdowns, but I had a breakthrough. And I knew something was terribly wrong, because I didn't want to sing and nothing was funny. And that was a clear indication that something was terribly wrong. So I moved back to Chicago, and I was asked to sing at a Unity church in Chicago, to sub for a friend of mine. And this is one of the songs that I sang. This is the song that I sang on Star Search. Every life is meant for living. Every song is to be sung. Every gift is meant for giving. It's the same for everyone. For the world was built by dreamers, those who dream, and so it seems that this world was made for dreaming. If we just wake up and dream, you can wait a lonely lifetime for a knock upon your door. Ships are safe inside the harbor, but is that what ships are for? Dreamers, dreams are real, and so it seems that this world was made for dreaming. Can we just wake up and dream? I moved back and stayed with some friends of mine who were very into Unity and into 12-step recovery, and just healed. I just healed. There was one incident when I was sure that my life was falling apart because I wasn't going to Mass. So, that's it, I'll go to Mass. And I had been to Mass when I first moved to New York, and walked in, and it was all about divorced Catholics and how they were going to the hot place because they divorced. And I left there deflated, you know, and then fast forward all this time, and I'm back in Chicago, and I thought, yeah, I'll go to Mass, and my friends who I was staying with lived down the street from a big Catholic church, and I walk in, and the sermon was on divorced Catholics and how they're going to the hot place, and I thought, you guys got to get a better sermon, you got to get a better rap, man. So I left feeling, of course, shamed and really deflated, and not really just, you know, but I had found this group of people who were showing me how to live a day at a time, and I was going to Unity. So I went back to the Catholic Church when it was empty, because I like empty Catholic churches. I love the smell, I get it all, I know exactly where I am. And I went to the Mary Chapel. Now you guys, Mary has always been my girl. Mary is the goddess that I love most. And I went in and I said, hi. I said, you know, I love you. My first name is Mary, you know. I love you. And the nuns would always call me, they wouldn't call me Megan because it wasn't a saint's name. I mean, this goes way back. You know? I mean, it's very clear why I ended up like I did. So I said, I love you, and I'm wild about your kid. But I can't keep coming here because when I do, I feel so good. But I have found this place, Unity, and I have found rooms of people who understand what I'm saying and how I'm feeling. And I'm really at home there. And I heard a voice that was not my own say, go and be where you can give and receive the most love. And I said, oh, thank you. Okay. So I kept going to Unity. I heard Wing Gaines speak in 1984. She changed my life. I started writing songs for, when I went to sub for my friend, they asked me back. And I'd roll in 15 minutes before service, after, playing a gig the night before. And I had always written something, on the fly, because I loved doing that would always sort of coincide with the message. And so this was not lost on me. It was just another version of, right? Oh, I'd love to sing here one day. Yes, this is heart. This is coming from soul. This is, 4 stars. I'll bet that was coming from ego. And that's okay. That's okay. We all, we go through that. But this is so much more fun. This feels so much more, this feels so right and kind of clear. So in 2008, I started going to a religious science center because when I lived in New York, I would hear Eric Butterworth speak. I know, right? Mm-hmm. I am living the dream, girl. And then I would go across the street sometimes and hear a speaker, Stuart Grayson, who was religious science. So I'm like, and I heard him say one day, the thing loving itself. What? The thing loving itself. And I needed to know more, so I started going to prayer practitioner prayer service in Midtown at lunchtime during the week, and I found out about prayer treatment. I became a prayer practitioner in 2008, which was just a glorious form of prayer, affirmative prayer, 5-step prayer. So I know that we're all on this journey. We've all survived trauma. We've all survived a lot that we don't think of as big. We say, oh, that was just, it took a really rockin' therapist to let me know that's trauma. Because I was told to be strong through everything. Sometimes that's not the best advice. So in today's workshop, we're going to be talking about the 5 curses, which are be perfect, which one of my teachers, Pat Allen, calls suicide training. Be perfect. Hurry up. Hurry up. Try harder. Try harder. Put others' needs before your own. That was literally taught in Catholic school. That was literally taught. Think of yourself last. Take the smaller piece. So deprivation, I don't need very much. I say, the meek shall inherit the earth, if that's all right with everyone. And the last curse is be strong. I say, don't be strong. Be real. So, I don't know what you've been through, of course, but I can just assume that we've all, again, come through a lot. And we ended up here, which I don't think is any mistake. So this is what I know about you.
Bless the progress that you make. America.